What's going on, beautiful people? It's Joe, aka the Nomad Investor, where dividends freedom anywhere is the goal. And today we are back with another portfolio update. We are on portfolio update number 22. We have 790 subscribers currently, and we are growing. And we have 23 videos out. This is the 24th video that I'm recording as of today. If you guys are new here and you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button. It would go a long way helping me with the algorithm, but most importantly, keep me motivated to continue making these videos. With that being said, let's get into things. As always, the videos on this channel are for informational, entertainment, and educational purposes only. I am not a financial professional or advisor, and nothing here should be taken as financial, investment, or tax advice. Investing always carries risk, and those seeking financial advice should seek out a registered professional. Now, let's talk about the game plan and goal for how I'm growing my small portfolio from $0 to $1,000 per month in dividend income. So, first things first, I have two sources of income. I have remote work income, pretty stable, pretty consistent, been doing this for years. And then I have business income, which does fluctuate up and down depending on the season. So, I've contributed or committed to contributing a minimum of $300 to around $1,000 plus per month into my Robinhood taxable brokerage. And what I'm doing is I'm treating this brokerage like a business, aiming for 30% plus high yield. And the way that I'm aiming to achieve this is through investing into high yield income ETFs, such as WPAY, HOW, QDTE, XDTE, XPay, blocks, and etc. And I have a max of 5 positions that I'm looking to invest into. And then I'm alternating between anchors and satellite ETFs. This is based on the core satellite investing strategy or approach. It's been around for quite some time, but I personally learned it from a guy by the name of Eugene Vasquez. I always like to give him his flowers because he makes a lot of high quality videos that I've learned a lot from. But anyways, moving on. I'm going to be taking the dividends that I get paid out, in my case, weekly, and I'm going to either drip them or stack the dividends to purchase when the market is down. Me personally, when the market is moving as it's been moving, I'm just stacking the dividends, which means that I'm saving them and I'm waiting for an opportunity when the market dips where I can accumulate and purchase more and more shares of the positions that I have high conviction in. Okay. So drip plus always compounding is the portfolio growth strategy. All right. And then I'm going to be rinse and repeating this until my account hits $1,000 per month in dividend income. It's really that simple and really that straightforward. But again, none of this is financial advice, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Now, with that being said, I did want to share something as well, especially for those who are new. These are my dividend income milestones while I'm growing my small portfolio. Basically, this is so I can celebrate the small wins leading up to the bigger goal along the way. As you can see, I have 2 of these milestones already completed. That's why they're highlighted in green. So we already smashed the $100 a month and the $200 a month goal. We were so close this month to reaching the $300 a month goal, but unfortunately, we did not achieve it. So let's see what happens this next month, November. And yeah, these are the other goals leading up to the bigger goal as well. So you guys can pause this and take a look at it if you wanted to. Now, moving on to this new segment. So recently, I've been talking about a new possible strategy for the bear market. Basically, I'm personally looking to diversify a bit and hold some different positions that are more focused on growth. And after spending a lot of quality time getting feedback, suggestions, and etc. from all of you, I have finally come up with a plan that I was able to build a framework or flow chart for. So I'm sharing this with you guys now. 50% will be in my high conviction, high yield ETF positions. These are things like HOW, NVDW, WPAY, blocks, and etc. So that will all still remain in those high conviction, high income ETFs that pay out those crazy dividends. Even during a bear market, I will still be invested into this, but my allocation will be a lot smaller than it currently is. Currently, my whole portfolio consists of high yield income ETFs, so 100%. So I'm going to be minimizing this, not by minimizing my positions, but by focusing and deploying my capital elsewhere. I believe these aren't going anywhere, and these will allow me to continue increasing my share sizes for each position without sacrificing my overall capital or NAV appreciation. All right. The remaining 50% will be divided among these 3 types of funds, as you can see here. Number one, 20% allocation to growth ETFs, such as VGT, VOO, and etc. I personally love VGT. It's what I hold in my retirement accounts. And I think this will be a position that I begin to deploy some 20% of my capital towards in order to increase and grow those positions. And that way, it'll roughly during a bear market hold up my portfolio pretty well. The next 20% will be allocated toward stable NAV index ETFs. These are things like QQQI, XPay, KQQQ, and etc. Now, I personally, out of these, I like XPay the most, but QQQI and XPay are ones that I'm eyeing. However, I have not invested into any of these positions yet. The last 10% will be allocated towards bonds. Personally, I'm looking into something like SGov or something equivalent. Now, with SGov, I'm just looking to hold cash there. I do not want it decreasing in value or having any crazy upswings or downswings. So I'm not really looking for capital appreciation here. I'm just looking more so for capital preservation. This is my new strategy, and I will let you guys know as soon as I implement this strategy on the channel. Okay. Moving on to the most important part, the reason why most of you are here, the portfolio update. So we are currently at $4,871.39. We are down $13.89 pre-market or 0.28%. But if we take a look for the week, we are at $868.77 or 21.71% up for the week. So that is looking good. As you guys can see, we also have increased our buying power. Our buying power is now $1,936.27. Our margin buffer is looking good as well at 52.12%. Total margin is also increased, the amount that we can borrow in total from Robinhood, which is $4,885.28. As you can see, my margin used has decreased as well to $2,949.01. And again, the reason why my buying power has increased is WPAY paid last night, but it officially cleared this morning. That distribution, that dividend payout went straight towards paying off some of my margin, which is what I'm currently focused on, despite a lot of cool and new positions coming out right now. That being said, let's hop into each position. So first things first, WPAY, as always, as you guys can see, it's currently at $54.26 a share. Our market value is $3,855.70. And our total return is $77.52 or 2.05%. So we're in the green here. This is looking good. We have an average cost of $53.17 a share. We still have 71 shares, and we have a 49.30% portfolio diversity with a 30% maintenance ratio. On to HOOW, probably one of my favorite positions of all time in this portfolio. It's currently at $75.42 a share. Our market value is $2,338.44. We are up $223.05 or 10.54%. Our average cost per share is $68.23. We have 31 shares here and a portfolio diversity of 29.90% with a maintenance ratio of 30%. And last but definitely not least, probably my second favorite ETF that I hold, it's NVDW, which is currently at $52.46 a share. Our market value is $1,626.26. We are up $217.97 or 15.48%. This is currently up higher total return percentage than HOOW, which is blowing my mind. And our average cost per share is $45.43. We also have 31 shares, and this is a 20.80% portfolio diversity with a maintenance ratio of 30% as well. Now, moving on to the investing journal. For those of you who don't know, this is a journal that I've been logging into every single time I get paid out a dividend, enter a position, or I'm just updating myself just to kind of see how my portfolio has been performing. My first entry was August 19, 2025. This is when I started this portfolio, which we started with a $678.67 net account value. We only had 3 positions at the time as well, which was Alti, ironically enough, XCTE, and YBTC. This is where we were at yesterday. I did cover this in the last video, but as you can see, our margin has decreased since then. And our monthly contributions are currently at $2,281.16. This has not changed. And these are the total dividends we received for the entire month of October, which is $282.14. Moving into the dividend sheet that we have here, I'm showing a different section of this than I usually do. We have a market return of $521.32 or a 7.13% market return on this portfolio as a whole. Our total return is $837.63. I am very impressed with this, or a total return of 11.45%. So we are not quite at that 30% that I'm aiming for just yet, But again, this account is really only 2, 3 months old. Now, hopping over to the sheet, let me zoom in a bit more for you guys. Again, these are my 3 positions. And something to note is that these are not updated with the current share price for after hours or pre-market. This is usually only pulling when the market is open. So that's something I just want to be transparent about with you guys. Now, for those of you who don't know, I always like to pay attention to market return, total return. That's just how I evaluate my positions, my portfolio, and see if it's something worth holding or something worth changing. Our total return for HOOW is 14.95%. For WPAY, it's 6.5%. For NVDW, it's 17.03%. This is incredible, guys. And then if we look at market return percentage, we are at 9.57% for HOW, 2.80% for WPAY, and 15.06% for NVDW. Now, moving on to the dividend log section, these are the 3 positions that I've held. I've already shared that with you guys. I actually did start this account in August, and I'll show you where the dividends are, how much dividends I made then. But for the whole month of October, this is how much HOW, WPAY, and NVDW have paid me. So I've gotten $114.11 for HOW. I've gotten $134.96 from WPAY, and I've received 27.80 cents from NVDW. We received $282, like I mentioned, and 14 cents in dividends for the whole month of October. And these are the dividends that I've received from the positions that I've sold. So back in August, I received $5.20 in dividends. In September, from my sold positions, I received $24.12 in dividends. And this month in October, from my sold positions, I've received $5.27 in dividends. But for the entire year, I am at $316.31 in dividends received. And for those who want, you can pause this. These are the sold positions, the days that I sold them, the number of shares, and etc. Now, hopping over here into X, if you guys are not following my page, please do follow. I do frequently update this with different kinds of news whenever I purchase something, if I have a portfolio update, anything that interests me in terms of high yield ETFs and just investing as a whole. So you can follow me at I'm Nomad Investor. Again, that's at I'm Nomad Investor on X. Now on to some news. This was a post that I thought was very, very interesting. It says, it's official. If you threw your money into MSTY at the start of the year, you're down even after those massive income payments. But hey, it's income, bro. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Now, this is unfortunate. I think a big reason why MSTY, MSTW, and these other MSTR high yield income ETFs failed or have been failing is strictly due to MSTR no longer trading in correlation with Bitcoin. And that's just like a personal decision that came about from strategy as a whole and Michael Saylor. But I will say this, at the end of the day, like, it's not just MSTY that this has happened to. However, MSTY is a good example of what happened. If you invested in January 2nd, 2025, and the end date is October 28, 2025, you end your investment with $9,418, and you would have an annualized gain of negative 7.13% or negative 5.82% in total return. It's like just terrible. Honestly, terrible, guys. Another thing that I wanted to share in relation to total return, or it's just income, bro, is this post from High Yield Hustle on X. They said 100K in BTCI versus 100K in Ulti since inception. BTCI, your capital, your 100K would have increased by $13,170. You would have received $35,820 in dividends, and your total return, which is the capital that you've increased, the capital appreciation plus the dividends that were paid out, would have been $48,990. Versus if you invested 100K in Alti since inception, you would be down negative $75,490 in capital. And then the dividends that would have been paid out are $72,575. So your total return would have been negative $2,915. And it says, what's the takeaway from this? Despite yielding 28%, BTCI actually has a far higher true yield than Alti. If you didn't reinvest your dividends, you actually lost money despite the 80 to 85% yield. With BTCI, however, you could have withdrawn all your dividends and you'd still have made money on your capital. This is why you need to pay attention to both capital preservation, at least, or NAV preservation versus just income. And I know some people are going to say it's just income, bro. And I completely understand where you're coming from. Different people who may be at a much later stage in their life They probably just want to live off the income. They don't care about preserving that capital they've invested. But it's just something to note that if you can at least get stability, not necessarily just capital appreciation, but if you can at least maintain the capital balance, the original balance that you deployed, and get dividends and get income from that, that would be ideal. But of course, if you get the capital appreciation, the NAV appreciation in conjunction with the high yield or high dividend payouts, you're winning at the end of the day. Because look, yeah, income wise, if you're just living off of this and you don't care about your 100K depreciating in almost its entire value, yeah, you're winning. You're getting $72,575 in annual income, right? Anyways, just something to consider, guys. Just something to consider. Moving on to RoundHill. They posted this yesterday. I'm really excited, guys. I did not expect this whatsoever, but GLDW and GDXW are launching today. Obviously, it's pre-market right now, so it's not out yet, but it said this as of October 29, 2025, around 9 a.m. This was yesterday. Tomorrow, we're launching 2 new weekly pay ETFs referencing GLD and GDX. RoundHill weekly pay ETFs are innovative funds designed to pay weekly income distributions while targeting amplified weekly returns linked to your favorite assets. I'm definitely excited for that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be investing into these funds at its inception, just because number one, it's initially going to be 100% maintenance ratio, so I can't even use margin to purchase it. And number two, because I haven't paid off all of my margin balance just yet, I can't deploy any of my funds that I'm going to be contributing towards my Robinhood taxable brokerage. Now, last but definitely not least, we are hopping into WPAY, guys. Every single month, I think it's at either the end of the month or at the beginning of a new month, that's when they rebalance their holdings for WPAY. These are the current holdings. They've got NVDW, AMDW, HOOW, AVGW, PLTW, Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta. And if we click view all, there's some more as well. They have Tesla, they have Coinbase, they have Berkshire Hathaway, they have MSTR, they have Netflix, and they have FGXXX. They are going to be adding more of their weekly pay ETFs to their holdings for WPAY because remember, WPAY is a fund of funds. It's holding single stock ETFs that they have for underlying assets such as Nvidia, Robinhood, Broadcom, etc., right? So the GLDW, for instance, the GDXW, these are going to be added to the holdings for this upcoming month. There's also ARM Holdings, the ARMW. There's also the Costco, COSW. There's also the Uber, UBEW, and more that they're going to be adding to their holdings for this. So I think this is actually going to work in the benefit of WPAY. We're going to see, I think, a lot more NAV appreciation over time should we continue in a bull run, of course. Because there will be more funds, we are going to have a bigger index. So we probably won't get hit as hard because since they're holding different types of funds, for instance, not just tech funds, over time, WPAY will get a lot more stabilized as RoundHill continues adding more weekly pay ETFs. So yeah, these are all the weekly pay ETFs that they are going to be moving into the holdings, I believe, for WPAY. And this is complete speculation based on my understanding of what they communicated, but we shall see. And I think this is overall for the benefit of anyone holding WPAY right now. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this portfolio update. I know it was nothing too crazy or special, but I at least hope you guys found value in it. And if you are new here and you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button. And most importantly for everyone watching, if you could smash that like button, that would help so much with the algorithm. And yeah, without further ado, guys, until next time, peace.